Okie doke.
Welcome everyone to our weekly Soul Changes Lives webinar. I am Debbie Perez Cockburn. I am happy to be the mentor of this beautiful group of people at Soul Naturals. And I'm just so happy to be with all of you every week. We are going to be talking about a product that I absolutely adore, which is called EnFatuate. And I don't have my packet in front of me, my packet of EnFatuate that I had with me on my counter just a little while ago. But we will be talking about EnFatuate. And I also wanted to remind you all, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, the company will be having their Inside Soul event. We are going to be launching a brand new product called Longevity. And there is the new bottle with the new label. It is part of our balance line of products. And I wanted to start our meeting off today with a quick testimonial. I have a friend whom I have known for over 20 years. She is a girl who suffers with type 1 diabetes. She was diagnosed as a diabetic at 18 years old. This girl has had severe problems due to diabetes. A few of those problems were she was not able to have a normal bowel movement. As a matter of fact, I asked her frankly one day and just said, I'm going to call her Susie. And I just said, Susie, when was the last time you had a bowel movement? She said, the last time I had a bowel movement was 2 weeks ago. And that's how it had been with her for years. And she is a girl who typically didn't have a good health habit. She would use some products, but you know, the typical millennial loved to have her Diet Cokes, her Cheetos, and all the terrible junk food that was available to her. And then she went through a terrible divorce and lost her child for a while, for a few years. And anyway, all of the emotional problems and the diabetes really took its toll on her. And last year, she almost died 4 times until I called her and just said, you know what, I'm tired of hearing you suffer. Would you start this program? I will get you the product. And she said yes. And she started taking our Improve Your Health in 4 Months program. She is currently getting ready to start month 4. And I talked to her a week and a half ago and said, Susie, how are you feeling? And she said, I can't believe the energy that I felt when I first started the first month. She said, and what I noticed when I first started using this product was I stopped craving Diet Coke. I stopped craving junk food. And I go number 2 twice a day now, every day. The most impactful thing that she said to me, I have to tell you this without crying because I love her dearly. She would wake up in the middle of the night, her sugars would either crash or they'd be over the 300 mark. The thing that has changed in her life that has been the most impactful for her is that she wakes up and her sugars are down in the low 200s. She's getting there to the low 100s. And the goal is to be able to get her to a normal, maybe 120, 130 sugar in the morning when she wakes up, her fasting sugar. So that's really important for a person who is a type 1 diabetic. She was injecting insulin 4, maybe sometimes 5 times a day. She is down to less insulin. And I think she said she's only injecting herself 3 times a day, way lesser doses. Her sugars are coming down. She's feeling happy, hopeful. She has a new outlook on life, and she is enjoying her life for the first time in 20 years. So I wanted to share that testimonial with you. And now to talk to us about our featured product this week, which is EnFatuate, is our president and CEO and founder of Soul Naturals, Mr. Greg Halliday. And Greg, I have a huge question for you because I have been asked this many times when I describe our EnFatuate product, which is a wonderful combination of adaptogenic herbs and high healthy fats, MCTs. Why would we need to use EnFatuate if we already have a wonderful omega product? We have Soul Megas. And you said something that was so interesting yesterday as to why EnFatuate was brought onto our product line when we already had Soul Mega. So can you start with that and then tell us about the ingredients?
Wait, what did I say?
You said that the difference between Soul Megas and EnFatuate is one can be actually substituted for a meal, which had never occurred to me.
Yeah.
That EnFatuate is a nutritional product more so than the Soul Megas.
Right. Yeah, the omegas are a emphasis on omegas supplement to make strong change in omegas. Soul megas, speaking of the product Soul megas, it's not just omega-3, it's omega-3, 6, 7, and 9 in that product. So it's a balanced omega high in threes. But we need, those three areas of nutrition, right? Proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. The area maybe, and I know on this Zoom today, everybody here, it has so many years helping people. So tell me if I'm off on this. It seems to me, but in the areas of like the macronutrition, like proteins and fats, the one that is the most just absent, just not even there, not even close in people, is good, healthy fats.
You're absolutely right.
Or that we don't have as many options that people understand. Whereas proteins, there's more there and some healthy ones, and people kind of, and I think people get the bad processed carbs, but fats is like this mystery enigma. It's just failing miserably in this country, in terms of just the general household, people knowing, how can I get good fats and how do I make that part of my diet? So honestly, it was one of the biggest problems, biggest areas lacking in diet. And like Debbie said, this product is about a meal, enough fats, and not just that, in between meals too. I mean, one idea that Debbie shared last time, which I love because I use it this way, say in between meal, when you get cravings, try EnFatuate either 1 scoop or 2 in a small amount of water, like 4 ounces or less. 3, 4 ounces of water, depending on if you're doing 1 scoop or 2, and drink that and watch how different you feel. I don't know, has anybody tried that in between meals? Try it one time. It tastes, when you have cravings, and I don't care if they're salt cravings, sugar cravings, either side, okay? Cravings, try EnFatuate and see if that will change, because not only do you feel great, but it will try that. Go ahead, Deb. Yeah.
I was going to say, first of all, Juanita says she's trying it right now. So there's somebody who's listening to you and taking you up on your word. But I wanted to say that I have tried it that way. And there's so much to be said about how fat feels on your tongue and how it satisfies the brain. And I think using it in between meals is genius because it becomes a low calorie treat, high quality, high quantity of great healthy fats without having to add a lot of calories. And today, she says she loves the taste. That's awesome, Juanita. Today, most people, when they diet or they think of the keto diet, which I think this fits in really well with that, and you'll talk about it in a bit. People think about the keto diet and they think they have to go crazy overboard eating, salmon and meats and bacon and most people don't think of a good avocado. I always have them on hand, but even avocado is included in EnFatuate, which I just love. And then you add that cacao to it, which the darker the cacao, the more pure it is, the more it helps the brain produce those endorphins that make you very happy. So using it in that way that you said, in between meals as a snack, is just genius. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let you share your screen and tell us more about this product.
Well, those are good comments, Debbie. And honestly, when it comes to cravings, EnFatuate might be the best anti-craving thing I've ever seen, because of Debbie's comments on the fats and the cacao, how they affect brain function, neurotransmitters. Because I mean, cinnamate is another great one for cravings. Sipping on a cinnamate for a different reason, but cinnamate is not meant to be a meal. And honestly, EnFatuate, I would say it's pretty darn close by itself, but we really built it to mix it with your Soul Complete. If you really want to fully take a whole meal and replace it, it's awesome to do. I know a lot of people right now, they do 1 scoop of Soul Complete, 2 of EnFatuate, 1 and 2. And that's their meal. Now you can do all sorts of stuff, right? Like I love a packet of Excel with that exact recipe. 1 Soul Complete, 2 EnFatuate, and a packet of Excel. You can do different things if you're going to take them anyway. But it is what Debbie said. This is about getting that macronutrition right in a way that adds not just good eating habits and taking care of cravings, but also enough fat in our diet to make change in the liver, enough fat in our diet to make change in the brain, enough fat in our diet actually to change how we burn energy, how our cells burn energy. And the slides will show some of that. So let me jump to the slides real fast. Hopefully you can let me know if you can everybody see this okay. Okay, so it's been what, Debbie, a year, we're coming up about almost a year and 3/4. It's not really that long.
Correct.
This was a lot of years.
Yeah, it was launched not this last year, the year, but in 2019.
Yeah, at Snowbird. And honestly, I will tell you, the only reason we have this is because of some wonderful development from Peru. Because one of the main ingredients in EnFatuate comes from, actually 2 of them come from Peru. And as we've seen an improvement in supply from these different places of the world that have sources of food, really high quality, healthy fats for food, it's changed what we can do in terms of forming this drink. And we felt like we were ready when we saw these last 2 developments that came from Peru. So really, EnFatuate is all about brain healthy, I would say, it says body healthy, I'd say liver and digestive healthy, fats for fuel and repair. But it's also a mix. So there's 2 sections to it. There's the whole fats, the good fats and what comes with it. Then there's another whole group of herbs that are all about digesting fats, absorbing them better, and fixing our system, which is messed up in the way we process fats. And so it's really, you can't have a sole product that just is, oh, we throw some protein in or we throw some healthy fats in. We always want to include adaptogens and herbs that address the issue of how we absorb and utilize the nutrition, because we have to always be working on repairing. Repairing isn't the right word. Sometimes it's repairing, but improving because of the typical diets that we're forced. So let's talk about the 2 groups. First, the fats group. Here is the core product in it. These awesome looking seeds are sacha inchi. They grow in Peru. They probably would grow other places, but this is where we source ours. There's also a very, very concentrated, high quality coconut oil, just the MCT from it. There's a wonderful avocado oil. There is, as Debbie said, pure cacao, and then sprouted black chia, another fruit from Peru called lucuma in English, mangosteen, black raspberry seed. These are all part of the healthy fat nutrition blend. So you look at it and you go, well, wait a minute, those aren't all fats. That's right, because the optimal diet, jumping back to Debbie's comment on keto, isn't this 90%, 100% fat that people kind of got off on. In fact, the doctor who invented keto talked about a certain instance where he was ramping the fats up for a certain situation. And then that got taken to be, oh, this is how you should do it. Really, an optimal percentage is something like 60, if you're doing a fat therapy type of diet, put it that way, 60% fats, 25 protein, 20 to 25 protein, and then the rest, these carbohydrate from fruit. And there are reasons for that. So that is actually what this blend is. This is almost exactly what the EnFatuate blend, and that was on purpose. Aside from that, now there's this group that we added to help support and strengthen our digestion of fats, the way we process fats, and everything to do with it. So you've got amla, which for a lot of people, that was a new one. It's an adaptogen from Ayurveda, an Ayurvedic, it's the berry that is used. Hops extract, a high quality hops extract is here. Slippery elm, which I know we're all familiar with, turmeric, a whole turmeric powder, chamomile, marshmallow, and whole leaf aloe vera. So you can kind of see in here, wow, there's quite a bit that's giving attention to repairing, protecting digestive tract, liver, and fat absorption. One comment that I want to make, and we'll jump to it, is that the first step, if people have any kind of a liver issue, especially like fatty liver, which now is incredibly common outside of alcohol use. It was always associated with alcohol, but lots and lots and lots. In fact, I've heard more than one expert say that a vast majority of the cases are outside of alcohol use. They have nothing to do with it. The person doesn't drink alcohol and they've got fatty liver. And so the one way, the simplest way to change that, the body's so amazing, is start to bring good quantities of pure healthy fats. When the body starts to receive those, then it can get rid of and release the bad, and the liver can change. Now, there's other herbs that need to be with it, and other support and nutrition the body needs. And that's the intent with this product, is to provide both of those, the reparative and calming herbs, because we all know when we calm in general, that's actually a stimulant to the body's reparatory processes, to the parasympathetic, to the digestion. Those in a calm situation, when we bring more calm to the mind and muscles, resting state, that's time for activity, greater activity and effectiveness on these reparative processes. And that's why the combination here. So couple of I think I mentioned this here. This shows you the breakdown of EnFatuate. The carbs are really, we probably should have written the net carbs, because you need to take the fiber away from it, the total. So the net carbs are just 2, because it's 3.5 grams of carbs minus 1.5 dietary fiber, which is part of the product. So really it's 2 grams of carb, 3 grams of protein, 8 grams of fats. The saturated are all natural. The fatty acids, well, okay, this next section here is a little bit of a review that Dr. Allison goes into on the what's the word? Amazing importance of fats, or the far-reaching, that's the word I was looking for, the far-reaching importance of good fats. It's why I think that maybe just given the typical diet, probably not just in our country, probably in a lot of countries around the world, if a person can start to change one thing and see a lot of change in their life, you start eating serious amounts of good fats and you'll see a lot of great changes. In fact, some people will start with it and they're like, whoa, body's not used to this. So add a couple of vertizymes, which have fat digesting enzymes to help the digestion, because people aren't typically used to this level of good fats. It's going to be a little bit of a change for the body, and that's a good thing. But why is this so important? Well, they create energy. They also make up the membranes that separate the good from the bad inside us, toxins from nutrition, let's say. I like to show this slide for one reason. The omega-6s, we eat so many processed foods, way out of whack, right? Did you know, I don't know, when I first started learning about herbs, I swear this was not this high. But now in the United States, the usual ratio is 20-1, omega-6s versus omega-3s. We are literally 20 times overboard on the 6s at this point. So it's gotten worse. So we got to bring more 3s. Several of these healthy fats are incredibly high in 3s, okay? So you are going to switch your ratio back the right way, taking EnFatuate. And if you want to do it even more, add a Solmegas. So if you're taking 2 Solmegas and you start taking EnFatuate, now if you're doing that for a therapeutic reason, okay, that's fine. But if it's more for maintenance, you probably could just take 1 Solmega if you're doing EnFatuate. And the blend of the 2 is probably perfect. Why? Well, all of these things: improved eye health, brain health, heart health, just general weight, how the body holds on to weight, and the things that are a consequence of that. Insulin sensitivity. I'm thinking of Debbie's friend, who I think I might know. Today, by the way you talked about it, and that makes me so happy to see some change, Debbie. It's going to be a life changer for her. And I can see her, even at this point, having no idea how good it's going to get. It's going to get, if she'll just stick with this, I think she's going to be shocked if she'll stick with it 6 more months and in a year, in terms of everything we see here. Inflammation goes down with better fats. Liver fat, obviously, blood pressure improves. These are just all studies, okay? This one's a key one. Little kids, our children, mothers who might be nursing, in the first year of life, if you can bring extra omegas to the equation, look what changes. Greatly reduced risks for diabetes, MS, lupus, Crohn's, rheumatoid arthritis, colitis. And I know these are just some because they've had them in studies. I think all the risks are going to go down when this is part of the nutrition, when transferred mother to child, and even when kids are starting to eat. This is EnFatuate's a wonderful product that that you can blend into their hot chocolate if you have to at the start, if they're not used to the flavor. Depression and anxiety improve. Eyesight, I mentioned that, macular degeneration improves, reduce symptoms, ADD, lowers Alzheimer, all of this with good fats. Asthma symptoms are missed, bipolar, sleep quality, brain health, skin health, all of this. So I'm gonna skip a couple things that Allison talked about, okay, and go right to these ingredients. Why did we put avocado in here? It's not just because Debbie keeps them at her house. That's probably a good enough reason, but because avocado is the amazing, that omega-9 is amazing with fat soluble vitamins. Lots of studies that show in the case of like carotenoid, like beta carotene, the carotenoids, you'll absorb 4 times as many if you've got omega-9s. I always tell people there's omega-9s that we need, and then there's having just that little extra to utilize. Not instead of barely enough that we burn for energy, let's give ourselves a little bit extra there for repair and to make a change in the body. Coconut, sorry, next one. These are the MCTs. Why did we include coconut in this? Well, here's your reason. It's a cleaner and a healthier way of deriving energy. That's why it's such a great cravings answer, and it's such a great meal replacement. Because when the cells burn MCT or fats, healthy fats, the body doesn't produce free radicals as a what would you call that? A side effect. When you burn glucose, yeah, free radicals are formed that the body has to neutralize. So it's cleaner energy is the way I like to say it.
That's exactly the way I would say it. Cleaner energy. And
yeah.
People who don't know what free radicals are, they're the ones that cause the abnormal cell growth in our bodies. And so you do want to burn that clean energy.
Well, when my wife was into triathlons, so triathlons, you swim, you bike, you run. There was a class she wanted to go to, and a lady taught it. She actually was teaching about changing your body to getting used to healthy fats for energy. And people in athletics think, no, that's not going to, they reach for caffeine, they reach for other things. And the truth is, yes, your body will adjust if you give it the right fats, and you find there's less soreness after. Back to Debbie's. You have less consequence to deal with. I mentioned the liver. Okay, this is the friend to the liver. There are huge studies now, and this is a meta-analysis that Allison shared, which is just simply doctors looking at prior analyses that have common threads, and they analyze them all together. And they found all these changes when you just improve that ratio, add more of the healthy fats, okay, reduce the processed fats, and your liver fat goes down. And all these damaging levels of fats improve. So, all right, where's the good fat coming from here then? Well, here it is. That sacha inchi, can you believe that? I think it's between 60 and 70% of the seed is fat. 30% is protein. You might see sacha inchi. I don't know if any of you have seen it around in health food stores. You can buy it, but they almost always are isolating the protein out of it. They're selling it as a protein because that's what everybody wants up here. We're just not yet getting the fat thing. And so what we said is, no, we want the whole thing. And they went, what? Everybody buys the protein from us in the United States. No, we want the whole thing. We want all the fats. Why? Well, look at that third bullet. 17 times more omega-3 than sockeye salmon in sacha inchi. It's almost 20 times as many omegas. It's high in tryptophan, which people talk about with what? Turkey, right? A serotonin precursor. It's got lots of great things in it. Sacha inchi is super nutritious. Now, sticking with Peru, here's the lucuma fruit. Look what lucuma's got in it. or lucuma, I guess is how we would say it in English. Beta carotene, these are just some of the vitamins and minerals you see. There are studies they're starting to show lowering because it helps manage blood sugar. It helps wounds heal quicker, improves the immune system, lowers inflammation. It also happens to be super sweet. And so there's glucose sweeteners now that you'll find. So again, they were kind of surprised. We said, no, we don't want your sweetener. We want the whole fruit. The whole fruit powder is what we want. Because why would you not want all this stuff? Why would you just want the sweet? We maybe could have made it even sweeter, but we didn't want to. We wanted to make it the way it is naturally with all this nutrition. And the next one's amla. This is the gooseberry. Indian gooseberry is a common name for it. It does everything adaptogens do. Let's just put it that way. One of the main reasons it's in here is eyesight. The studies with amla, to me, are equally impressive as studies we might see with bilberry and eyebright. And honestly, in Mexico, where we couldn't because of some of their ultra strict, let's just leave it that way, rules for herbs that you can bring in there, the amla is in the Excel down there because we couldn't. I think it was eyebright. I can't remember which one. I think it was eyebright. We couldn't. So amla is wonderful for stabilizing capillaries in eyes, for several different aspects of eye health, and it's a full adaptogen. Cacao is the one Debbie mentioned. I think when you taste EnFatuate, Juanita was tasting it, was trying it right now. Usually the two flavors that come out the most are the sacha inchi, the general flavor, and this cacao. Cacao's amazing. It's loaded, as we all know, right? Really loaded with nutrition. It's an incredibly powerful antioxidant. I'm always shocked when I see the statistic. 40 times as many as blueberries, which are incredibly high in antioxidant. Cacao's much stronger. And it has a couple of fats, a couple of lipids that are one of a kind. This anandamide, if I'm saying it right, anandamide, that last bullet there, it's called the bliss molecule because it's the one that goes right to the brain, like Debbie said, and is a mood improver, a mood enhancer. And one of the reasons I believe people crave chocolate and chocolate products. There are other reasons too. I think the vitamin, which one is niacin? B3? I'm trying to remember which B vitamin is niacin. But another reason that people will crave it is it also has that. It's got endorphin triggers. This is another one in cacao. Inhibits appetite. It's so another reason why this is a great, what do you call it? If I have a craving, it's a great craving answer. I did not know this. It strengthens tooth enamel. Cacao, that's a good reason to use it every day. Improves clarity of thought, memory, several aspects of cognitive functioning. So that's just a little quick picture into the ingredients of EnFatuate. We were incredibly excited to launch that a year and a half ago. And honestly, now we do have it right now I think we've got a certain size, and I'll just let you know, one of the things we're doing is we enhance some of our equipment is we're going to offer some large size. So because once people are using it because then their price per dose goes down, right? And so I think, what is that, like 20 days? The EnFatuate right now,
Yes,
it's something like.
I think it's 21, almost 21 days. It's, I think.
Something like that, if you use the 2 scoops. Yeah, so we'll look at in the Soul Complete and the EnFatuate and the Thrive, kind of like we have with the refills and the 4 signature drinks. You've got this big size and you can really save once you know, hey, this is just part of my diet. You know, I auto. So, and we'll do that with EnFatuate as well.
That's awesome news. I love that. And going back to Greg's suggestion about being a meal replacement, you know, I'm a big fan of eating my bigger meals earlier in the day. And if I'm going to substitute a meal and make it low calorie, it would be in the evening. I do intermittent fasting. So I do all of my eating and all of my calorie intake in about 6.5 hours in the day. So usually the last thing that I want and I crave would be the EnFatuate in a Soul Complete shake. And it's totally satisfying for me, again, because of all of the great ingredients that Greg mentioned. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I know we're coming up on spring and summer, and Eventually COVID will go away and we'll all get to wear swimsuits and go to Cancun. But I know people are crazy when it comes to good diet, or they dieting. I hate when people say dieting, because it boggles my mind what people will do to lose a pound instead of doing the easy, healthier way to keep the weight off for the rest of your life, right? So that's what I love about a product like EnFatuate, about Avant Greens or Soul Complete, where you can put these together and have a great meal replacement and not miss anything fun. Because I promise you, I know Joanne has said, you know, I've tried the EnFatuate, I really don't like the flavor. And I've just told her, mix it with something else. Mix it with something, you know, for me, if I'm looking for a nice warm drink to soothe me into sleep, it's always going to be a hot cup of Renew with a little EnFatuate in it, because the fat helps me sleep better. It's the best sleep you'll ever get if you take EnFatuate later in the day. It's the best, I promise you, it is the best sleep you'll ever get. But if you're looking for a great meal replacement, then do what Greg said. You know, put your EnFatuate in with your Soul Complete, have a Vertizyme with it. You're good as gold.
Oh, you know what? So Joanne, Joanne, you're not alone. If you didn't like the flavor, there are quite a few, and they're the ones, yeah, we tell them there's some really good smoothie recipes with it that you can put good things.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, if you haven't tried this one, do the Soul Complete, 1 scoop of Soul Complete, the Dutch cocoa, the 2 of the EnFatuate, and add a packet of Excel. I know that sounds weird. And then just like maybe a 1/2 inch of coconut milk or almond milk, if you like one of those two, in your shaker. And then like you go like 3 cubes of ice, just enough to get it not too cold, but shake it up and try it and tell me if you like that flavor. Cause that's another really good, I mean, that's like not even really a smoothie where in the sense of you're adding other, you know, fruits and veggies on your own. That's just sort of just a Soul product one, but it's a simple one. And I've done that one a bunch, and you might like that one.
Yeah, and if you don't like the Excel in it, try it with a Cinnamate.
Yeah, or try with the Cinnamate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Thanks so much, Greg. We so appreciate your being with us every week, your great brain, all that wonderful information. I just love that you and Dr. Allison and Blake work so well together to come up with these innovative, cutting edge, ahead of the time, ahead of the curve products that are so, they're cutting edge, really. There's not a better way to describe Soul Naturals and their use of adaptogens and bringing in those exotic herbs and all of those flavors that are so hard to come by, that most people don't know about. Like lucuma, you know, who knew that it would be so sweet and so beneficial and help with eyesight and stuff. So again, you can't pigeonhole any of Soul Naturals products and say, this is an omega product, so thereby it's for this. No, you've seen today that all of the elements of EnFatuate have so many different uses and how beneficial it can be if we add to our daily diet. So we love you, Greg. Thanks for being with us. Love you all, you guys. Please don't forget to tune in to Inside Soul tonight. You should have gotten already a message about it. And if you haven't, you'll get a message from me on WhatsApp, on text, or via email tonight, okay? Love you guys. We'll see you soon. Thanks for being here. Sonia, good to see you.